everybody, it's me, the Digital Doctor again. Today, I wanted to talk about something a little more closer to home. It's technology related, and so we'll get to that part of the video in a little bit, but I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health and awareness of it and how I've been using technology in my own life to help with my own issues. Now, I've never been diagnosed with depression, but that's not to say that I haven't had my own issues or struggles in undergrad, med school, and residency with, self, what's the appropriate way to put this? I'm really hard on myself personally, and my wife would be the first one to say that that's the truth. And I've looked for a lot of different ways to help me to kind of get over that self-shaming, that I don't want to say hatred, because I don't think I've ever been that bad. But that's not to say that I haven't had things to work through. And I think everyone does. Now, some people obviously have it worse than others. And we actually just celebrated National Physician Suicide Awareness Day. And that's kind of why I'm making this video cast, is specifically targeted at how we can use technology to improve physicians' mental health. And I'm going to talk about a specific app that I use, haven't started using. And it's called HeadSpace, just to kind of segue into that. I started using HeadSpace midway through my second year of med school. The reason I was doing that residency, second year of residency. So we do a whole nights of months. And what that means is basically for, 5 days a week, for a whole month, you're working from 11:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. I don't like months, just to put that out there. I do not like working, night shifts. I don't like working nights. I do like that we kind of scrunch them all together versus, having them interspersed. But nonetheless, I don't like working night shifts, and that's mostly because I've got little kids. It makes it hard to be present with my little kids. I have kind of the time after I wake up with them. But nonetheless, I was having a really hard time in residency, specifically around this time. It was kind of the middle of my second year, and I was coming up on my nights month, and I was kind of feeling the slow burn that you feel around that time in residency. Specifically, it's when you start to see and feel the fact that I was feeling at least that I didn't know enough, that I wasn't studying enough, etc., etc. All of the self-doubt stuff that I think is very common, but shouldn't be, obviously. So anyway, I was getting ready for my nights month and didn't want to have as bad of an experience as I had my intern year. So I decided I have to change something. I have to figure something out. And so I kind of looked into ways, read a couple books about it, blog posts and articles about anchor sleep and stuff like that. And then I came across meditation as a way to help really with the ability to shift your schedule and to get in the appropriate mindset for sleep. And that's when I stumbled upon HeadSpace, the app, which is what I'll go into here in a couple minutes. And it changed everything almost, actually, for me when I started using it on my nights month and having it was just 10 minutes, and then I increased it to 15 and 20 minutes by the end of my month a day that I was meditating using the guided meditations on HeadSpace's app, which we'll go through again. But it changed a lot. It changed my perception. I was able to go to sleep faster. I felt like I had more energy, and it changed essentially my whole perspective and outlook after that, my nights month. And after that, there was a free 10-day trial, I think, and I got a free 30-day trial. And then I bought a year of it because I was a convert to it. So I'm going to go through exactly how you can use HeadSpace, but that's kind of my story of how I've used it. And I continue to use it. I try to use it every day. Not always successful at using it every day, but that's the goal. And I'm going to walk through it. But this is something that's very serious. We can talk a little bit more in other podcasts about how I think technology is actually contributing to a lot of our mental health issues, but this is a way that I think technology can really benefit us and help us to become better doctors, better people in general. And this is obviously an opinion piece. This is how it helped me. It may not work for everyone, but I would highly recommend that you give it a try, this HeadSpace app. I obviously get no money from them. If you want to pay me some money, HeadSpace, I would be more than willing to take some money. But I have no investments in this or anything like that. This is just something that's helped me, and I think you should give it a shot. So let's take a look at the app, okay? Alrighty, so this is just my home screen, but you can see that this is actually my front page, and I have HeadSpace pretty much right front and center because I use it every single day. So this is the app. Click into it. You can download it from the iTunes store for free. There is in-app purchases. I believe you have 10 free sessions as it stands right now, and then after that you have to pay for it. Like I said, I've already purchased the 1 year. They had a sale on it where it was like $99 for a year. I think I might have actually bought it for more than that, but nonetheless, I buy the year one. There's also a legacy subscription or something like that where you buy it for a lifetime, but it's like $300 or something like that. Absurd that I wasn't going to pay because I'm a poor resident, but nonetheless. So this is what the app looks like. You have your home, discover, and then basically just some stats about you. So you can see I've meditated a total of 36 hours since I've started this, doing 251 sessions. My average duration is 9 minutes. Basically, the way this is set up, and the reason why I really like it, is because it lets you kind of tailor it to what you're hoping to get better at, essentially, from meditation. Because the way I look at meditation, and this may not be the best, viewpoint or the most appropriate outlook on it, but it is my opinion. I look at using the HeadSpace app as kind of the way I do for my jogging. So I run to maintain cardiovascular health and to maintain, my essentially physical well-being. I also, usually train for 5K, 10K, half marathon type things to maintain my motivation. But nonetheless, I look at my meditation practices as a way to maintain agility of mind, a way to essentially maintain the fitness of my brain, for lack of a better word or phrasing for it. And that's why I like HeadSpace, because it gives me a pre-templated, if I have the time out of my day, I know exactly where I can go, and it gives me the structure that I, especially as completely new to meditation, needed to be able to be successful in my meditative practices to begin with. Now, some people who have been meditating for forever and know exactly what they're doing, this is probably too basic for them. But nonetheless, I'll show you what I started with. So I was having a really hard time sleeping. So I found, let me see if I can find it. So you can see that there's different categories. You have work and performance, and then you have different kind of things that you can focus on. So prioritization, productivity, finding focus. So you can see that finding focus, I think, was one of the first ones that I did. Creativity I've done as well. Balance I'm sort of done with. Happiness, you have self-esteem, relationships, patience, etc., and etc. And I think brave, I can't remember, health, that's the one I started with. So I did stress and sleep. I don't know why it doesn't say sleep is completed, it should be. So I did the sleeping all 30 days during my nights month, and it completely changed the way that I don't know, obviously this, I was going to say this is all placebo, and placebo's in the brain, right? And that's exactly what this is. This is all in the head. This is all the ability to become present, because this is all mindfulness meditation. I know there's different types of meditation, and maybe I can do a video cast about that in the future, but that's not what this is about. This is mostly about the app setting and why I used it. But nonetheless, the mindfulness aspect of meditation that this focuses on is the ability to be present at all times. And that was what was completely lacking. I couldn't fall asleep because my brain was racing. And so the ability to focus in on the present and the main focus for mostly mindful meditations is your breathing, or your breath, being present with your breath, allowed me to kind of go out of this constant rat race that was going on in my head and be present and fall asleep. And it made a huge difference. And then of course I've just basically been continuing on with the app since that time. I want to show you a couple of other things. They have singles, which are really nice. So these are pretty quick ones. I've actually used the workout ones for the runs, which are actually helped me to be a better runner, because I used to run inefficiently, both mentally and physically, I think, and this kind of helped me to focus on that. But these are just fun little 10 to 15 ones that 15 minute, actually I think you can whittle them down to 5 if I'm correct. Let's see. Losing your temper, start now. Yeah, you can do 3-minute ones on these ones, and then you just start it. Basically, let's see if I can get it to go. I don't think it's going to play for us. Andy Putterman, who's the guy behind it all, basically just walks you through one of the meditations. But these are really nice. I use the sleeping and falling back to sleep a lot on my night months when I'm trying to sleep at 7:30 or 8:30 in the morning, and I wake up because of my kids, and then I have a really hard time falling back asleep. I would use these ones, specifically sleeping and falling back to sleep a lot. Then you have minis. These are helpful, and I've actually used them at points in time during my shift. So if I'm like having a really hard shift and up front and having really critical patients and just getting my butt kicked, and finally I'm like, I have to leave the department and go for a pee, and I'm just feeling like completely overwhelmed and waxed, actually we'll sit down and do one of these. They're really fast. They're usually 1 to 3 minutes, and I sit down and I walk through it. They're usually breathing techniques, super quick, and I feel completely rejuvenated. And it's weird. You wouldn't think that a 3-minute exercise would have that much impact, but it really can. And I go back into the department and I feel like, all right, I can do this, right? Because it's essentially like if you're feeling tired and you lay down and do 10 push-ups and you stand up and you're like, all right, got the blood pumping. That's kind of how I view the meditative practices during a shift. Like, I'm like, I am so mentally taxed right now, and I have decision fatigue, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I go out, I push the reset button by doing one of these mini meditative practices, and I feel like it really does help me to kind of push the reset button. I've felt the difference. I don't know if my attendings would say that they've seen the difference, but nonetheless, I feel like it really does help. And then I really love this part right here, the kids one. This has allowed me to actually start meditative practices with my children. I have a 5-year-old, Presley, who's really interested in a lot of these practices, and they're really cute. They're quick, 1 to 3 minutes. She likes the 1-minute ones. She feels like if I increase it to 3, they're just too long. And then the animations part is huge too. My kids absolutely love this. They will sit down and they will watch like 10 of these videos in a row, which, it won't TV connected, this TV. Oh, I don't want it to play on the TV. Oh, it is playing. There it is. That's weird. So anyway, it just kind of walks you through these different meditative techniques. And it's really, really cool. And my kids absolutely love it. And it helps us to kind of spend that time. And then we'll watch one of them, and then we'll talk about it. And then we'll do one of the mini meditative, the kids meditation things. It's really, really fun. So that's the animation aspect of it as well. So you don't have to use HeadSpace. You don't have to use any meditative app if you don't want to. You can pick up a book on meditation, read it, and start it. But I would highly, highly recommend, from my own personal experience and the benefit that I've gotten out of it, that you start implementing some sort of meditative practice in your life. HeadSpace is what I've been using. It's been extremely helpful. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments. And thank you again for watching.